Okay, this is a basic Creeper World free map, Starsync. It's about, I don't know, about 5 missions in, I think. There's not too much clever going on here, not too much difficult, so I suppose it's useful for looking at the basics. There are 2 technologies to collect here. One is a anti-creeper sprayer and one is an ore mine. This is in addition to the collector, relay, reactor units that we already have, the cannon, mortar and nullifier. There are no titans at this moment and 1 command node is available. So the game is paused at the moment. So this allows us to take time, analyse the map and decide where we're going to place things. The command node obviously is the first thing to place. We don't want to build too much too fast, but at the same point in time we don't want the command node to be too far from the action. So just place the command node there. Actually that might be a little bit too close to the ore mine, so we will just move that slightly further away. Just place 2 collector nodes to start with. The objective of the map is to destroy the big red object. You can see it's got a large emitter in. It's not producing too much creeper, amount 20 every 1 second. But then again, none of these are that powerful. But then again, nor are we, so fingers crossed. So, right, you take it off pause, let the 2 collectors build, and then pause it again. Build another 2 collectors. Same routine. They're built. So right, now what we want to make sure is that we don't overload the power we've got. We need to get this power rating number up here up to, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, really as high as we can go, but something useful like 5 to 10 would be good. So we're trying to space out the collectors as much as possible. The thing with the collectors is basically that they're only generating power from the green area around the collector. So if you overlap the collectors, you don't get any more power. Yes, there's some overlap here, but at the same point in time, not an awful lot. So really you want to try and space the collectors out as much as possible. This also limits the overlap in terms of power, because these more far-flung collectors can't demand power from the command node until the nearer ones have been built. So we're only going to be building one of, although there's 5 there, we're only going to be building 1 at any one point in time. As things stand at the moment, the command node can basically handle about 2, building 2 or 3 things at most. So we can't really afford to overload it. If we overload it, then basically these power lines will change colour. As you can see there, they go red when you run out of power. The black means that there is no power across that line at all. Red means that you're short of power. When it goes back to green, then it'll go white. Okie dokie, we're back up to nearly full power. Got about 4. We could do with a little bit more power off the collectors. The reason you do it with the collectors is because basically they're cheap to build. That makes them fast to build. at this point in the game. I haven't even looked at what's happening with the emitters yet. The creeper over there. Simple reason, I can't do anything about it, so no point worrying. When the collectors are properly spaced, they'll create a grid like this. You see, that'll drain our power again. The lines will go red, and then they'll start to come back again as we complete more of the collectors. Our power rating is now up to about 7. That's a bit more useful. So let's try and build a couple of reactors. A reactor will create as much energy as a full collector, but obviously it doesn't require any green area around it, so that makes the energy density, I suppose you'd say, an awful lot higher. They are, however, a lot more expensive, 50 build tokens instead of 5. When I say build tokens, I'm talking about these little balls coming out of the command nodes. You'll notice that they are coming in 3 different colours. When you're building an object, they're white. When you're powering a weapon, they are red. And when you are powering a totem, which you will find later in the game, they will be green. Right. The creeper is just about getting to the point where we have to do something about it. We've been told that we need to build a sprayer, so we'd better build a sprayer, and in order to feed the sprayer we're going to need ore. The ore will go to the command node, and that will be converted into anti-creeper. As soon as you place your first ore mine, or some other way of collecting ore, then you'll get this extra box down the bottom here for anti-creeper. You do not get a lot of anti-creeper out of ore, so basically don't build too many sprayers or bombers. Bombers are an aerial unit that also you can deliver anti-creeper. Right. I've moved the cannons into places where locations where they can actually do some good, as it were, but I'm also going to have to supply them. This is one of the advantages of collectors being so cheap. You actually have a reasonable chance of being able to build the collectors up to the point where they can power the gun turrets we've just tossed by the time the guns actually get there and run out of energy. The thing to remember with gun turrets is that they can only stop small amounts of creeper, but the fire rate means that they're good at pushing stuff back, so this kind of situation is ideal for them. When the amount of creeper gets heavier, then the cannons can be easily overcome, and that's when you'll need to add mortars. A cannon and mortar pair will do an awful lot more damage than 2 or even 3 cannons on their own. So definitely don't go overboard with cannons. They just haven't got the firepower. Sprayers, on the other hand, are quite good, basically they toss out a pellet of anti-creeper, and the anti-creeper will interact with creeper and it will destroy the creeper, and it will give you your own creeper effect, and that will then have to be overcome by the creeper coming in. This means that it's good for holding an area that the creeper is trying to invade. There is also another way, well, several ways to use sprayers really. If there's a lot of anti-creeper in a location, you can actually absorb that. This will suck the anti-creeper back to the sprayer, and allow it to be reused. If there is too much anti-creeper in the gun, then you can dispatch extra anti-creeper or sending it back to the command node to be stored again. The final way to use the sprayer is to be always on. This is not exactly what it may sound like. This essentially always emits anti-creeper from the location of the sprayer without actually firing it. Obviously this is very expensive in terms of anti-creeper. The ore that you collect in the command node. I'm going to add an extra couple of reactors because we still need more power really. Right. While they're doing that, we might as well stick in a few extra collectors. Locations that probably wouldn't otherwise generate an awful lot of power for us. Basically any of these gaps in between the green fields, stick a collector in them. It doesn't have to be accurate because at the end of the day we're not going to get everything out of every square inch of the map. We're just trying to get most of it. Okay, let that run again. Obviously the grid goes red, very heavily red. You can see this is how much energy it's trying to draw that we haven't got. Fortunately the command node is able to produce quite a bit at the moment, so these collectors will be built reasonably quickly. That comes off the load and we can then complete the building of the extra reactors. Right, let's try and get some progress done in terms of completing the map. We want to make sure that we've got good power from the command node going to the forward weapons. So let's build a relay line. Relays basically don't collect any power, but they cover much greater distance than collectors do, and the energy packets travel along it a lot faster. I'm going to move the sprayer forward to make sure that that relay line is protected from the incoming creeper. What I'm going to try and do is take this one first. Okay. Obvious place to put power, link the power, right, so I can get a command node, sorry, a collector there. Let's move the cannon forward. Leave this one here for now. Because we want to take down relatively heavy creeper, although the sprayer is doing a decent enough job to start with, we'll put in a mortar. That should help. Okay, keep things under control and deal with the deeper creeper. Sorry, I'm really using the wrong words. A mortar is good for the deeper creeper. if that island was just a little bit bigger, we'd be able to build the nullifier there. You can see that the circle around the nullifier has gone white. That means that the emitter is in range. But unfortunately there isn't really quite enough ground. So even if we move the mortar, it's not in range at that point, so we do have to clear space on the island. So let's add in an extra mortar to try and make this go a little bit faster. Okay, that looks like there's enough space there now. Maybe. Try it anyway. Yeah. Because the creeper comes in pulses, it's quite easy to be able to place something but not actually to complete the building. And until something, the item is actually completed, they're very, very fragile. Some of them remain very, very fragile even once they have been completed. But the cannon is not too fragile and obviously will repair itself. Cannon is also useful, as I said before, pushing creeper back, so it's quite reasonable to hide something behind it. There we go, that's the first emitter down. So then we can stick the cannon on it briefly to clear the area around, which you'll notice it does very quickly. Burns through the energy a bit, but yes, that works quite well. And once you've cleared the immediate vicinity, it's worth swapping the cannon off for something with a bit more power. We can either put in the mortar. The little rings effectively massively increase the firepower or functionality of whatever you place on there. You can build a reactor on there and get a lot more power out of it. Okay, you then can't move the reactor anywhere else, but you can destroy it and build another unit there if you want to. So using these rings is really the thing to do. It gives you a lot more cutting edge. You can see the mortar is firing much more often and over a much wider range. We can take out these emitters or we could ignore them because we only need to hit this one thing over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sprayer over there. And the mortar alongside it. And make a bit of space. That is probably the end of the mission. That's one emitter down. The second emitter's going to go in a moment. . It's gone. I just wait for the big one to go. There you go. Hope that was fairly straightforward. Let me know if there's any questions.